Hey, folks.
Hey everyone.
Hey everyone.
Hey, I think we have a good long list of items to talk today.
Girish, there is something wrong with your mic, I think.
Oh, okay.
Can you guys hear me fine now? Hello?
Much better.
Oh, thank you. My AirPods Pro, I think, has some issues. Yeah, I was just saying, we have a long list of items to talk today, and also I would like to know who all got in for the KubeCon, and is there any Oven Kubernetes related talk? If you could also please capture, that'd be great. I think this time it was much harder. A lot of our talks got rejected.
Yeah, we can also talk about that one. Let's see if folks join. But I think we do have some topics already on the agenda. For anybody who wants to add more, please do so.
Yeah, with 3 minutes, or should we get started, Surya?
Yeah, I agree. Hey everyone, welcome to the OVN-Kubernetes community meeting. Today is the 4th of August. Let's follow the CNCF code of conduct and be nice to each other. And as agreed on the previous meeting, we decided to do triage first for the first 15 minutes of the meeting. So I went through the backlog list and I pulled out issues from the most recent towards backwards, but then I pulled issues in a way where it's unassigned issues to start with. Oh, it's taking a while to load. I'll open everything. But
Should we
yeah,
also figure
meanwhile,
out some kind of a policy on when we close issues? Because the one that we assigned last time, I asked a follow-up question and there is no feedback for 2 weeks. So
yeah, there is a bot that,
the stale
but
one,
it's
it will
very
close
long.
it?
Yeah, the bot will
Mm.
auto close it if there is no activity after, is it 60 days or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a bit too long and we might want something.
Yeah, it's just that I think there are two different stale kind of things, right? So if we need more information and it's not being provided, then it makes sense. But maybe if we just didn't get to the issue, I'm not sure if we want to close it in 60 days. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe then the assignee can decide that after 2 weeks, there is no response and we can close it, saying if you have more information, you can reopen. Maybe we can do that if that works.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can personally decide. I would wait a couple more weeks, I think, and then yeah, maybe close it.
Yeah. Okay, whatever the time frame is, yeah, it doesn't should be okay. But this was one of the first ones that was opened last week, and it says not possible to use non-offloadable pods with OVS Docker, and that they're trying to take advantage of the OVS Docker feature. And I saw an issue with it, so. Who has some time to dig into this? Firstly, do we provide official support in our project for OVS Docker?
Yeah, actually we do. Let's assign Alan to it. If Alan is not on the call, he's the proud owner. Otherwise, I'll talk to him offline.
Alan's
It's fine.
here.
It's
Can
fine.
you take it?
Yeah.
Feel free to assign it to me.
I think those Surya, that we can't really, this assign thing doesn't work for any non-OVN Kubernetes organization members, meaning for a lot of people. So even some of the things we assigned last time, they're not actually assigned. And I don't even think we have a bot that reacts to these /assign labels, but even if you try to do that manually, it also will not work because it kind of protects random people from being assigned issues. So we need to first add all the assignees to our org or something like that, and only then it will work, I think. Or the person can always self-assign stuff. So another option is to just ask people that we're trying to assign to click assign to me, and that will work.
It doesn't work for me, or maybe not non-org members.
So you just can't click assign to yourself.
No, no. So I can't
Okay.
click anything because I don't have permissions.
I don't think he will see the assign yourself here. Do you want to
Okay.
add Alan to the org, Nadia? And whoever else should be from the NVIDIA side.
Sure. Yeah, but I'm thinking like, is it fine for me not just to assign stuff, but also to add people to the org? To keep
I think
assigning
if
more
it's a
things to
regular
them?
contributor, it's fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if
I'll
it's a
try to do
regular
that.
contributor, I think it should be fine. Yeah, and then we can, and or people who take up
Alan,
these issues are mostly regular contributors. It should be okay. Sorry, you were saying something?
Yeah, I was asking Alan if you don't mind me adding you to the OVN Kubernetes org for that purpose.
No, feel free. You can also just CC in my username, and that's fine as well. I think it's going to be in my GitHub queue.
Yeah, I've done a /assign on you, so you should get the notification. Okay, moving on, how to handle the DHCP on a primary interface. I have set up Kubernetes. It's a VM deployment with OVN Kubernetes installed. The OVS daemons are running as daemon sit and pods. The node's primary interface, ETH0, is receiving IP address traffic from a DHCP server with a lease time of 12 hours and gets renewed with the same IP address. Okay, the node's ETH0 is managed by network manager, set to auto mode. Okay, so that even during reboot,
So I
it gets
think
the same one.
this
Okay.
one relates to the fact that we moved the IP and MAC from the interface to the bridge, OVS bridge, and we don't really create a, I don't know, net plan or network manager configuration for it. So I'm guessing it's just documentation issue. I'm not sure if we're documenting this anywhere, but
So
if we, Mhm.
yeah, we handle this today. All of our hosts in all of our data center, the primary interface is or DHCP based. What we do is we use the DHCP client ID feature, and then set the client ID to the MAC address of the primary interface, and then the internal port of the bridge, right? When we move it, we can just use the client ID. Maybe I'll take this over and
but,
explain it to him. Is that what?
but Girish, he's asking basically like who should create that network manager configuration for the OVS bridge?
Network manager. So they're using network manager, is it?
I think
Yeah.
so. Like if you look at 2B, it's network manager. So
The good.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it should be. See, there are two ways, right? Today, if all of the hosts does not have OVS bridge, OpenCube node creates the OVS bridge on the fly and moves the IP, right? Obviously, if it is configured for DHCP, it will break unless we set the DHCP client ID. What we should do is in our documentation, we have a prerequisite as a CNI. The first and foremost prerequisite as a CNI is we need to have OVS running on all of the hosts, right? And then minimally, that OVS should take over the uplink on the host, and you create a OVS bridge on it. I think, yeah, as you said at the beginning, it's a documentation issue, and we should not. When I say we, the OpenCube node should not try to do any kung fu of moving things over. It works on the simplest of the cases. On the most of the cases, it will fail, right? If you have multiple interfaces or MAC VLAN or IP VLAN or whatever it is, on the primary interface, if we try to do this kung fu of taking over the uplink and putting over, which will 100% fail. So I think we should clearly document that this CNI as a prerequisite at the very minimum requires OVS bridge on the uplink interface, and please configure it, and maybe we can give them some. The good news is downstream we use network manager, and we have some commands that we can give. Let me take this and work with Dimitri, who is one of our engineers, and I'll work with this and then hopefully provide some update by end of this week. Yeah, this is annoying, right? If you cannot assign name, yeah, just please add CC there. I'll take over. I'll add a AI to myself.
Yeah, I think
Peter should
GitHub
be
froze.
in the list, right?
Yeah, exactly. Even
Yeah,
he couldn't find me
I
either.
don't know why. No, I think it must
Okay.
be something on my side. Network acting up or something. I will fix it later. Because I was reviewing the Rebase PR and GitHub kept crashing for me because the Rebase vendor code is too much for my browser. Maybe, now I see it. See?
Oh, yeah. Okay, at least that works.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Girish,
Anyway.
for maybe we need maybe this is also a good first issue for somebody to pick up and document.
Yeah. Let me see if his name is Dimitri Yusupov. He's the host networking person in our team. I'll see if he can help us there.
Yeah, that sounds good. The next one is a very, very easy issue. I think we have some broken links and docs pointing to some Google Drive links which can be fixed. I've marked it as a good first issue. I think anybody can pick it up. Not
Oh,
precisely.
only if you know what's the right link.
I think I think whatever is in the link needs to be open sourced for sure.
It's a scavenger hunt. We need to check all the links. I think
It's
we should use this as a queue to fix all the broken links, maybe.
Yeah. I think it's in some sense, even I can't access it. So I don't know what this slide is, but at the very least, we can remove it from the docs because it's useless today. If anyone wants to volunteer for this, please feel free to. It's open on the repo. Okay, next one is an L2 UDN is not, failure to create a network on L2. We began by creating a UDN using the manifest that was published during FOSDEM. Okay, I think this was by Miguel. And then we created two workloads, a container and a VM. The VM was using the L2 bridge interface binding. We noticed that compared to the kind cluster with L2 topology, the router is not created, only the virtual switch is. And as a result, we don't have a reachable default router.
So this goes back to, I think Nadia answered this to me. I just wanted to check. Obviously, we have a lane in our CI upstream, trained on KubeVirt with UDN, correct? That's what.
Yeah.
Okay. So this should have failed, no? If we had.
Yeah, I think on kind, it works is what this person is saying. So compared to the kind cluster where the router is getting created for the egress, it looks like
Not created.
I don't know. Yeah, it didn't get created in the end for the L2 bridge interface binding. I'm not sure what they mean when they say compared to kind cluster. So what else?
Should we ask whoever was presenting on the conference? Maybe they'll know.
Yeah, it's Miguel. I can take this.
He's in the list, you can assign him.
Well, why not, actually? Let's actually try that. Let me remove myself. Thanks, Nadia. Okay, that's assigned. I think we are at time, 15 minutes past. I think we can continue the remaining 3 issues in the next meeting. I'll move them over. Okay, we can go over the agenda items. It's again me, like a broken tape recorder at this point. I'm trying to cut the 1.1 release, and we seem to be always postponing it because things are never ready. I've added the stuff that is required now into the milestone for the release. We are trying to target this Friday, which is the end of this week. I've reached out individually to folks. I think for me, the only confusion is, so from Red Hat side, I know that Jaime is working on the BGP enhancement. Sorry, not BGP enhancement, but the BGP user-facing docs, and he's working with people to make sure it's getting reviewed and merged. I'm working on the UDN docs. I've reviewed Tim's BGP enhancement. I think that's also pretty okay. Dave said he will definitely finish this libOVSDB cut and then consume new libOVSDB. So I think they're trying to do a .8 release or something, and then he wants to pull that into the 1.1 release because it fixes all the deadlock issues that you guys have been working on with Dave. I think Dave's on PTO today, but he'll be making sure this finishes. The confusion that I have is these two issues, and I think we decided we'll remove one of them, and now I can't remember which one. Well, there's three issues. One is the add manual chart release workflow.
Yeah, that
And
can
then-
move on, I think, in my humble opinion, because it's for us, right? Maintainers, right, Nadia? At least to how Flavio explained it to me is that instead of manually cutting all this Helm chart, he kind of found some OSs.
Yeah, so there are, I actually also added that as a part of our agenda. I think there are like two open PRs by Flavio. One is the this automatic release of Helm charts. I mean, I don't think any of us will really be using that, but it's kind of an easy way to install OVN-Kubernetes on your cluster by just running some commands. And well, I mean, it's supposed to make it easier for people to try OVN-Kubernetes.
This is 5.2.4.1, right? I think we cherry pick this downstream. It's very useful.
Wait,
Oftentimes,
I think the one that Nadia said was 4971.
Yes.
see, this one is not for this one is not this is to release the Helm chart.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's for
So,
us,
so
right?
maybe this is a nice to have, but it's
Yeah,
for
nice
end
to have.
users also to try out OVN-Kubernetes for the first time easily by just doing Helm install, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the idea, right?
Okay, I
So
need to.
I don't think it's also for, yeah. So to your point, Girish, I think it's not just for
I
maintainers.
see.
I think it's also for end users, but it's a nice to have thing. I don't know how complicated it is in the sense it's only 47 lines, but I also don't want to force it this week if there is no time to take.
Yeah, we
look
can
at this.
punt it, right? Like maybe 1.2 we can
Okay.
punt it for now. See, for the master, it's important. I mean, sorry, for the main branch, we can bring it in for 1.1. Anyway, we're going to release the Helm chart, right? For 1.1 head. And we can cherry pick this once we have it for main to 1.1, right? Let's do that, I think.
When you say we're going to release a Helm chart, what exactly do you mean?
Yeah. See, when Surya cuts 1.1, we're going to release the 1.1 Helm chart, like, and then post it to some ghcr.io or quay.io
You mean manually?
registry, huh? Manually.
You mean, okay.
Yeah.
See, because I was thinking there is no automation to do that, right? So who's going to actually release
Yeah,
that?
manually
Okay,
we'll
so
do it. I
someone
can
will.
help. That's what I at
Okay.
least do downstream, right? So I can help Surya once she cuts it. If she pings me, I'll quickly
Yeah.
Helm package it and push it to quay.io public repo so that anybody can pull from there.
I think for 1.0 we did something similar, so I will definitely ping you, Girish.
Yeah, let's do that.
But
And
I guess my question is then, what's the point of the second PR without this one?
oh, the second PR is let's say I release the Helm chart, correct? And the Helm chart will have, let's say we merge this MR and this MR is in ovenkube.sh, so it will get baked in the container images. And then and then 1.1 gets released. I push the Helm chart for it. Now anybody can run Helm install without labeling the node. I've seen at least downstream a lot of our engineers forget to label the node. In fact, it happened on our internal data center where we forgot actually to tell people that, hey, you have to label the node before you can install the Helm chart. And then the cluster OvenCube node controller was in clash loopback and everything. So that's when I realized people are going to definitely forget. A lot of us are forgetting. So this one will be baked into the container image, and then we release Helm chart on top of that. Now anybody can just do Helm install, and then they have a single node IC cluster without even having.
Yeah, there is an example in Flavio's PR of how installing the Helm chart looks like. There are quite a couple of bash commands, so I wasn't sure if like adding one command to label the node will make a big difference. But I guess if people forget to do that, that makes sense. The only problem is we needed to make sure that it doesn't break OpenShift. Did anyone do that? Because the OVNCube.sh is also a part of the OpenShift image. And then the question was whether it's going to break any updates, upgrades.
No, I thought in OpenShift, you guys inline all the shell scripting in the
Yeah,
time it
CNO
started,
does
right?
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, CNO does it.
So maybe
Okay, as long as someone can totally confirm that, that's cool.
Patrick?
Yeah, we are not using that specific script
yeah, that's
downstream,
what I
so it should
yeah.
be good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's merge this.
Anything in dist images is not required.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think this one can be merged. So Girish or Nadia, do you want to do, if you think
Yeah,
it's ready?
I already tested this. It works nicely. There's some upgrade path. It's for us in NVIDIA, this breaks some upgrade path, but I'll handle it later. But for now, for global good, I think this is a very good MR, actually. That's what actually Flavia initially intended. Yeah, I'll take care of the downstream. There are some down upgrade issues. Like from central, if I want to move to IC, there's some issues here. We'll handle it separately.
Okay, sounds good. So we are targeting this Friday for release.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong and we're not able to get the PRs merged, etc., we'll see. I'll
Yeah.
keep everyone posted on the channel. But let's move on in view of time to the next item on the agenda, which was based off of some PRs that we had last week with Tim and Nadia were working on it, but also we were reviewing it from our side. So this was something to do with the way SNATs are done today in Oven. It's a lot of the features like UDN and BGP today use conditional SNATs, which means that on that router, contract gets committed, contract commits the traffic for some packets that are meant that match on those SNATs, sorry. And then if it's asymmetric, then it kind of breaks hardware offload. I think the discussion started with when we were planning for connecting UDNs. Some traffic flows might break because of conditional SNATs, and that we wanted to move the SNATs from the router to the node. But then Nadia, I think, worked with Han last week, and we've come to realize that there might be an alternate way of doing it in OVN using the option. I forget the name of the option. But TLDR, I think what I personally wanted to bring to the table was that it's very hard to know what flows will break and what flows will not break when we don't have any tests for offload. So always we are left wondering, it may break, it may not break, like it's hard to tell. So is there some kind of at least simulation or something that we can do, right? Because I personally don't work on offload feature at all. So when we are contributing features and we introduce regressions, it will always be a post-mortem rather
Yeah.
than proactiveness.
So this has been a long-standing battle with us. We do have Nitya on the call, has been the proud owner of a test rig downstream where she tests it every night. It has always been like, hey, you broke me, right? It's post PR March is when we get to know things broke upstream, correct? But obviously that's too late and it's a lot of redo of the work because things broke and we're right. So there are a couple of ways we wanted to solve this. One is we have this simulation framework called NVIDIA Air, AIR. Unfortunately, the promise of it being externalized for people to try has not been fulfilled yet for various reasons. One is it's never kind of got promoted from beta feature to GH in general because it always had some issues. That's one issue. Second issue also is the fact about who's going to host and pay for the machines when we offload. That's the secondary issues where we kind of said our business unit will handle it. But the primary issue still remains the simulation framework that we have has not matured out of beta. We're going to bring this again. Actually, in fact, this morning meeting, we also brought it up. So in the absence of that, we can do a couple of things, right? One is we can always tag Nitya on the Slack and ask her. Of course, it's um, best effort. We can always Slack Nitya for now on Slack channel to see, hey, this is the PR. Can you please run a downstream offload for us, and then we can quickly test it against your offload, and we make sure it works. Obviously, it's not the best case. Sorry, best, best this thing, but at least it's the best we can do right now, I guess. The
Yeah,
second option is to see if we can get the physical hardware in place, and then that means we'll have to involve PSOC, like a product security office, and see how we can let something from outside reach out to us inside and then do it. See, that's the problem. The other thing is, we had this idea where we'll add labels, and then GitHub, to the GitHub. See, the author of the PR will add labels to the GitHub, and we have this bot running downstream every 5 minutes, checks are there any PRs. It will take that PR, kind of merge it on top of the head, run the test. In that way, Nitya is out of the picture, and it'll post the results. I think we should do this as the first thing. You see what I'm saying? In the absence of NVIDIA Air simulation,
yeah,
enabling the PR upstream and we take it and then run a black box testing and post it back will be the best thing, I would say. If it
yeah,
breaks, we can have Teams call or something quickly and then see why it broke and things like that.
yeah. But I think the other overarching goal also is for us to know if we really care about support of offload of every traffic flow across every feature. Like the new features that we add, right? Like for example, for BGP on layer 2, on local gateway mode, on asymmetric traffic, which is like pretty common in BGP. Do we care? And if so, then we need to account for those traffic flows, which I don't know if you have tests for on your side downstream. Like
Right.
it's the niche use cases where we are always stuck with. I think the most common traffic flows are okay, but the newer features that we add, it's very hard to tell. Like offload is not the first thing we think of when we do the feature.
Exactly. The thing is for us, offload first, right? Because the nick is from us. So,
Yeah.
so, but overall, I think it will benefit everyone who has nick, which is OVS offload amenable, right?
Yeah,
So,
agree. Yeah.
yeah, I
I mean,
think
ideally speaking, I think even on our side, we support offload. It's
correct.
just, it's not tested. So we don't know what is broken today. So,
Yeah, we need a better story. Let's at least aim for labeling the PR and then bot. Actually, Tim, who joins us today from NVIDIA, again will help us, at least with the posting the results and everything. Because Nitya, I don't think you got that information from him, right? So we create this bot. That bot will have access to read-only access to the PR upstream. It will scan all the PRs with the label, run that test, and then post the results. At least we'll try to get this next month or two.
yeah, I think that sounds like a good interim solution
Yeah.
for now. And thanks, Nitya, for
Yeah, in the meantime, we'll try to get that NVIDIA Air. It's very powerful actually, but it actually it breaks all the time. It's like sometimes the underlying the feature itself does not support breaks sometimes to connect east. The network traffic itself break because of the feature of simulation than the code or the hardware it's simulating. See what I'm saying? So oftentimes we end up debugging the underlying stuff, but 99% of the time it works flawlessly. So um, we need to see how to uplevel this and then make it public, at least for the community use case. So Michael
yeah.
or Alan, you might not have much insight into NVIDIA Air, or it comes from Michael's org. But yeah, I can talk with the VP of the person and then the VP of the team, and then I'll try to set up something and then go from there.
Yeah, I think
It's not possible testing offloads in air at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, not sure what is the value would be.
No, we test offload. I'm not sure why you say that. But it cannot be done performance test. We're mostly testing functional. But again, if yeah, I see. See, the thing is, how do I say this? Um, how do we test offload works or not? Right? We run some flow tests, and when we run flow tests, um, we measure. Let's say I'm running flow tests on a 25 gig NIC, and we have a threshold of 20 gig. The flow should at least be 20 gig or more for the test to pass. If it's anything below 20 gig, we know it's failed, right? because without offload, the same flow would have performed at 11 gig or 12 gig because it's CPU bound or whatever it is. On NVIDIA Air, it's a simulated environment and you cannot run perf tests, right? Because the underlying bandwidth itself is 300 megabits or something like that. You see what I'm saying? So we were trying to find, we run TCP dump, right? We run TCP dump on the uplink interface. And if you only see 4 packets or 5 packets, that means it is offloaded. But if you see majority of the packets, for a simple test, then we know offload is broken. So that's another way of us testing offload. There are 2 ways we are testing offload. So in NVIDIA Air, what we do is, what is the premise of NVIDIA Air, right? It simulates, it's called SIMX. It simulates every generation of NIC, the offloads, the whole hardware pipeline, one-to-one within the SIMX. It's delivered as a container. And inside the container is the hardware offload engine, and everything gets simulated one-to-one. So with that simulation in place, and if I run TCP dump, and even if I run a simple IPerf test for 30 seconds, if I see only 5 packets, it's guaranteed that offload is not there. That's how, Michael, how we have been testing it. But for the most part, it's kind of some feature was broken or not, like kubelet restart, something was happening. I don't know if Vincent is here on the call. Yeah, Vincent, do you remember if we had some issues, right, with kubelet, it was failing or something like that when you were running it like 100 nodes of something like that? Do you remember that? Or
Yeah, but it's called a skill cluster. But I think we resolve this because if you download new image, it will introduce the issue because you cannot download an image to 100 nodes.
so anyways, guys, well, let's do this, right? When NVIDIA Air is externalized and comes out of beta, we'll have a lot of blocks to write and how people can use it. And then we'll also try to integrate with GitHub, but we have a good interim solution in the meantime.
Yeah, I think that works. Thanks for having the discussion, and we can keep working towards having something eventually. But for now, it's going to be manual in some sense. Okay, moving on. The other item that I had was in conjunction with Kiki. Kiki had a PR where it was half assisted by AI. And I tried to understand the legal aspects of how AI contributions work with DCO sign off. I think the internal recommendation we got from legal and everything was if you have a PR assisted by AI, to actually have assisted by and the name of the code assistant written, and or generated by and the name of the code assistant written as part of your PR, and make it really transparent. So this is more for maintainers. I think we need to have some kind of a contributor doc regulation as part of our governance on what our policy for AI assisted code is, so that it's written and it's clear when we merge PRs with the DCO on where that PR is coming from and how much of it was it from AI versus how much of it was it from the author. So this is what I found so far, and I wanted to ask if the community is okay with following this for now. So if there is an assisted by and then the name of the assistant or generated by, based on whether the code was generated or whether you used AI to assist, if we can follow this policy, is anybody against merging PRs into OVN Kubernetes, especially the maintainers?
I think I like
would
this.
say we need to define the amount of code that was generated by AI. So using assistance and being transparent is nice.
Yeah, but I
then
think that one has to
we
be
need
on
to
a
be very,
case basis, right? Yeah, I agree.
yeah, you need to be very clear about like what that means, because we still should have the rules, because it's not written actually anywhere. So that's a good topic to bring up, because people do use assistance sometimes more than you expect. And then there should be at least rules, I think, hopefully that are obvious to anyone, that you need to at least verify everything that was generated by the assistant. So hopefully that's a given.
Yeah, I mean, for code review process, nothing changes, right? It's not like we're just going to merge the AI. It's as much as, it's like we are reviewing a normal PR. So we review
No, I mean
everything.
reviewed by whoever submits the PR, right? You don't just like generate the code and without reading every single letter of that, you're not supposed to submit
Oh,
that,
right,
So-
of course. Yes, yeah.
yeah.
That I would really
That's it.
hope the author does that. So that's a good thing. So that's
Yeah, you
actually a
would
good
hope.
point. So maybe we need to write those specifications down in our contributor doc. Otherwise, it's very hard to mandate these things when the PRs are coming from, let's say, external contributors to the repo. Like we can't make up rules on every PR. I think we need to write it down. I don't know if
Yeah, and
anybody
it's
has
also like
cycles to volunteer on this.
See, internally, we are at least obviously being AI first company, we are given so many tools to use AI in every aspect of our stuff. People are slowly starting using it. Um, as long as it's been reviewed and all the functional tests and unit tests works, I don't see any issue in having AI write 100% of the code for us. At least that's my thinking. I mean, if it writes 100% of the code, for example, it's a small feature, right? 100 lines of code was written by it completely. Is there any problem with that? Or as long as there's a unit test for it and there's a functional test?
Yeah, there is kind of a problem because you oftentimes generates much more code than needed. And then if you generate it first and then you read it and it actually works and the code kind of makes sense. But if you were writing it yourself, you would have written that differently and potentially in a much more efficient way. I've just seen these kind of examples myself. So that it's,
Right, but
I mean,
yeah, you obviously refactor it. It gives you some scaffolding, some idea of how things should be placed, right? And then you kind of go change it. Then how do you say, yeah, you definitely assisted with the initial scaffolding, correct? So it could be that in some cases, 100% was all what you really wanted, and it's actually getting better and better by the day with the new models.
So yeah, you mentioned that you were counseled by legal. I guess that was Red Hat legal, or was
Yeah,
that CNCF legal?
it was Red Hat legal internally. I think this is what they're mandating, that if you're an open source project, then you can do assisted by or generated by transparency and merge it.
What
That
about other
it's
projects?
okay to do it with TCO. Other projects, good question. I think maybe most of them, at least from Red Hat, most of them are following the same pattern. So from what Kike said in his projects, they are also using assisted by. Like there is an internal Red Hat slide deck where I saw all of this, but yeah, it's hard to tell. Like TCO has been there forever. If you read the developer certificate itself, it's not very clear. It has no mention of AI, right? It just says something like this contribution was created in whole or in part by me, right? Which means if AI did it fully, then no way that it's compliant to TCO. That's why if somebody is generating it, but it needs to have a line by line self review and some refactoring to make it efficient, etc., like Nadia was saying. But I don't know, like
Maybe we should cross-check with CNCF and really have a say on this matter.
yes, with CNCF, I think for the CodeRabbit AI, when I turned it on, I had asked them, and their stance is be responsible with AI tools. Like they're not taking any stance on legal side or anything like that. So it's
Okay.
hard to. So I think it's up to us maintainers to come up with some framework or policy that is written down, which we then apply, right? Otherwise, like for me to merge that PR, it's hard. Like I don't know what to do.
yeah, but I guess otherwise I have seen that in my reviews for sure. The code will still be generated, but it just will not say that really. And then there is sometimes a lot of place for improvement anyway. So I guess people still generate the code and they don't always review it line by line. And then, I mean, it just brings more work for the reviewers, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, but I think we can't solve the problem on the call, but an action item here is to have something in the governance for usage of AI in Oven. If somebody has the cycles to write something up, even if it's simple, like to begin with, that would be good. Otherwise, we'll have to put a hold
Also,
on every PR, you know.
Won't
Yeah.
it be soon that, or maybe already that there is no PR that is written with not being assisted by AI? I mean, isn't it a default in some way, or like the list will become very soon? Another question.
Yeah, I mean, if every
Like, do I
PR is
even need to say
somewhat
that?
I think we need to though. Like that part, they were very clear. No matter how much it evolves to where the point where everybody uses AI and it's some level of assistance is there from AI. I think that part they really said you have to write assisted by AI if you have used AI.
Okay.
Is a question here, it's going to be hard for the maintenance to review, or is the question here is that the author did not do the due diligence, just took whatever was generated, thousands of line of, just dumped it on us to review?
I think it's
It's,
a bit of both from what I'm hearing.
we're using CodeRabbit also to review, so we can use AI
Yeah.
against AI.
Yeah, I don't think none of us are actually against using AI. I think it's the same for us internally. Use as much AI as possible as the mandate. But the responsibility part at the end of the day comes to maintainers when they merge, right? So then
absolutely.
that becomes an overhead for us if the author has not done due diligence. And even if they say something like assisted by Gemini, to the best of my knowledge, it's good. But even then for us, the kind of attention we need to pay to an AI assisted commit might be more than a
More.
kind of attention you have to pay to a human that you've worked with for 3-4 years now, right?
No, I agree. What if they put some backdoor in there? What if the AI put some backdoor, and then we as a maintainer were responsible for making sure the code we merge is secure?
Yeah.
Things like
Like for me personally, if it's something that is touching unit tests or end-to-end tests, like for example, KKSPR is doing some lint nice thing across all the E2E tests, then it's a low risk for me. But if it's like touching core code, then I would really question it and would probably ask the author to break it into a separate commit and not mix it with everything else or something. I don't know. But yeah, we need a process for sure.
I'm honestly not sure. Like, assisted by means that I used a tool in any capacity. Is it like marking every patch that where I used some kind of auto completion as assisted by? Because I would mark every patch with like GitHub Copilot, I guess, just because it auto completes some of the code. It doesn't necessarily mean that it was generated by the tool itself, because it's very iterative.
Yeah.
Are we talking about
think,
like patches where it actually generated huge amounts of code that was never touched by human, or everything?
that one would be coming under generated by. If AI generated the code, then it's definitely generated by. If AI assisted you, it's coming under that category. This is what I was told, but about auto completion and things like that, I will have to recheck with them again. But okay, I think we can move on because we only have 15 minutes left. It's something to think about, and if people have other ideas, we can gather them and see how to put it in our repo. The next one is Nadia. You have 2 items here. Over to you.
Let's see. Yeah, so a small update. I removed Flavio from the org team. There is like a team from which the reviewers get auto-assigned, so that he doesn't get more PRs assigned to review. Hopefully that's okay with everyone, just a heads up. And the second one is what we've just discussed already with the Helm install and all these little things. So that's already covered. There is actually one more small thing. I was looking for reviews and for a very nice test fix that I also announced in the channel. And I think Arnab is a bit too busy and he was auto-assigned. So I was wondering if anyone has the time to review that, because it's like the CI failures are very annoying. And then if we merge
I think
that,
Arnab said he would review it. I had checked with him.
Yeah, I just
So
pinged
maybe
him.
give
And
him
it's been like a week, I think, or something. And then he said he will try, but it just sounds like he's very busy. I mean, we can, of course, wait, but I thought if like just someone else has a bit more time or something. But yeah, otherwise we, of course, can wait. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the link to that PR so that we can put it here for
I can
anyone who
put
has
it
time.
somewhere. I will add it.
5385, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Let's put it on the agenda as well. And thanks, Nadia, for fixing this flake. If anybody has cycles, please take a look. If not, for Arnab. And for the reviews itself, as much as possible, I think we are trying to go with the bot auto pick, at least on Red Hat side. We are trying to follow it so that it's less burden on some people who are doing more reviews, and we can encourage more people to do more reviews. But if you're not getting attention on a PR for, I don't know, over a week, then it's definitely good to call out. We can see to reassign. But if anybody on the reviewer list upstream is not doing enough reviews and you're not able to, you don't want to be a part of that list, reach out to the maintainers. Because otherwise, if you are assigned a PR, please try to take the time to review. Okay. Girish, you have the next topic.
Yeah, I was just curious to know if we are getting any couple of things. One is, are we going to get a booth for OVN Kubernetes sandbox? Like in that, what is that, project showcase for North America? That's one thing. And second thing, any OVN Kubernetes related talk got accepted?
Yeah, I think this time, at least for me, my main track talks did not get accepted, and the lightning talk got in for OVN Kubernetes for the sandbox. So that's like a separate session that happens the day before KubeCon for all the CNCF projects. So we get like 5 minutes to do like a elevator pitch about our project. And then the project booth, I think we should know the results soon. I don't think they have announced it yet. So as soon as I get to know that, I will keep updated.
Cool, because some of us will be there, and if we do get a booth for the project showcase, we can have a schedule around who should be, who can help us out to be there for
Yes,
all of the things. So
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I think it would, if people are coming to KubeCon, definitely we can do some round the clock shifts instead of, usually sandbox projects get like half day or 1 day or something like that out of 3 days, but still it's good. And it's a good forum to spread our presence in CNCF.
cool.
Next one's Han. You have the floor. Han?
Yeah, sorry, I spent some time to find the window. Okay. There was a OVN community meeting just half an hour ago, and there's a new proposal from Felix. I'm not sure which company, but yeah, he says that there's a need for them to use OVSDB features like change tracking. That's already implemented in C, but not in the libOVSDB. So they have plans to have write a Go wrapper on top of libopenvswitch, the C library. So there's a discussion about whether this is overlapping with libOVSDB. But obviously, it's not, because what they need is not yet available in libOVSDB. And so the question is, which is a more feasible way to implement either enhanced libOVSDB or the new wrapper? How would that work? So it's a very, very preliminary discussion, and we want to know more from the opinion about of a libOVSDB community. Would maybe have more discussions here.
Yeah, thanks, Han, for bringing this to this forum. I think the right people are here. Dave is on PTO today, but Jaime is on the call. Do you have an issues or something opened on GitHub for this, which maybe can be used to track the discussion, or maybe that's a first step, even if it's in the design phase?
Nothing here. I'm just, the proposal is not from me, right? I'm just convey the message, and there's a discussion ongoing, and the people would like to discuss more details in this meeting.
Yeah,
Because
Jaime can actually help us. I mean, you were one of the maintainers of the libOVSDB, correct?
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
maintainer, but I haven't been involved in
No,
for
Jaime.
time,
Jaime
so.
is
I think Jaime and Dave are active nowadays.
yeah.
So yeah, so I would be interested in knowing if they know about libObsDB. I guess they do, and if they have considered it as an option, and if they are like if they're preferring OBSDB, the wrapper over OpenBSwitch over libObsDB for a specific reason. But I think that libObsDB could be used for that. Yes.
Yeah, the question is actually libObsDB currently doesn't provide features like a C IDL, which has a cache, and also when you make any changes in a main loop, it's connecting the changes in the cache and then submit a transaction to the server at the end of the loop. That's not how currently libObsDB is working, right? We have a cache, but it's only cache getting update from the server. When we prepare the transactions, we don't update the local cache. And for that reason, it's not easy to do change tracking and some other requirement from their perspective. But I'm totally not knowledgeable about how would a Go wrapper on top of libOpenBSwitch would work, because that sounds like a shortcut. And if that works, then what libObsDB is providing might be easily supported there. So it's really interesting, and I'd like to hear from you.
So that's right. It works in a different way, but it sounds like they have more specific requirements if they need it in a different working way, right? Like it's not just about change tracking. They must be needing something else to require it to work like that. And in terms of a wrapper and bindings against libOpenBSwitch, I guess that I don't know why the implementation of libObsDB didn't take that approach initially. I'm not sure if it's a performance concern or any other concern in any other area, or maybe platform support. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thanks
But
for
one of the ideas would be to direct them to this meeting, so we can know better about their requirements, and maybe we
yeah.
suggestions. But
That was the thing, but actually there's a conflict because the OVN community meeting happens every month of a Monday morning, 8 to 8:30.
That's at the same time as this one or before?
Yeah, at the same time, but just overlapping half an hour of this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we can ask them to join the second half.
Yeah, second half, and also they can
but
join the
but that
libObsDB
meeting
Slack
was,
channel. Sorry, Han, can we also ask them to join this libObsDB Slack channel and ask them, we don't have to wait for next 2 weeks, right?
yeah.
We can do, that'd be great.
Yeah, and sorry, I need to clarify that meeting is monthly, and so there will be, next meeting of this one will not be overlapping, so should be okay.
Okay, that's good discussion. Thanks, Han, for bringing it up. So either we have a discussion on the libObsDB CNCF channel, or we can invite them to the next meeting. Sounds like an action item. So that we can understand their use case better. And that's all in the agenda. We have 5 minutes remaining. Anything anybody else wants to bring up? Okay, going once, twice, and sold. If not, thank you, everybody. You can have your 5 minutes back. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye now.
Hello. Hey. Very nice. Short. It was short, but nice. Yeah, it was good. It was pretty good. Yeah. It was only hot yesterday, like on Sunday. The other days were pretty reasonable. I came back just yesterday. No, back back south. Like so I went north. I had to come back for a few days. Then I went back up north, and now I'm back definitely. Like yeah, the house where we stay up north now has other people staying there invited, and I there's no space for me there now, unfortunately. Yeah. It's because we don't call it heat waves anymore, but it's hot. It's the usual stuff. Yeah. It's not 40, it's 36, 37. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, 18 works for me as long as it's sunny. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Uh-huh. So I understand. I understand the problem. What I don't understand is how your PR is fixing it. But wait right there. That's not preventing the node controllers from starting and using the old annotations. Okay. Okay. So you are just implementing a finalizer in a weird way. Um, so basically, what happens is the finalizer is what. So the finalizer that we have in place at the end of the add check is when the NAT gets deleted. What I'm trying to find out is what specifically prevents the node network controller from getting started. Is because it's the UD, is the UD is the UDN itself, right? What you are. Okay, so what I'm wondering is why isn't the cluster manager so what is setting the finalizer? So the UDN has a field, right, which is the finalizer somewhere in the metadata or somewhere. I don't know where it is. Who is adding those finalizers there? So it's the but which what controller? The UDN cluster manager. So what I'm trying to get at is that perhaps whatever controller owns that annotation, those annotations, I don't know what controller is that is, right? But let's say let's say there is a right. So whatever controller is in those annotations just updates the UDN to add itself as a finalizer so that it gets called or has a chance to clean up that finalizer before deletion. That's what I was kind of getting. That's what I was getting at with a weird way of implementing a finalizer, basically. Mm-hmm. Mhm. Mhm. So you mean affects scale when deleting unions? Are they taking measures for that? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the reason fine artists are there, right? For to let other controllers pitch in. Yeah. Mm, but the thing in the network controller, right? You're calling the network controller. You mean the network controller in cluster manager? Yep. 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 So don't if you're going to consider cleanup, do think about that function is also used to remove stale stuff. So probably that's not the best place. Like cleanup is just removing stale stuff. I don't know if that's a place. Hmm. Yeah. But you are in network manager, not in cluster manager. Yeah. So let me uh let me just give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Just trying to find out where it is. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, we don't have a network controller in cluster manager. We just have node controller. Yeah. Mm. Huh. I wouldn't like to do it in Network Manager, honestly. So you know how network controller does callback? So for example, it's callbacking other controllers through reconcile. Yes, yes. So you would have you would add some controller in cluster manager that just becomes aware of networks through that reconcilable callback, right? I guess let me check the API.